listeners and viewers out there, my job is getting harder and harder every day. And the reason my job is getting so hard is that the establishment is going so insane, is bleeding out in front of everyone, and is basically spewing out so many lies and bizarreness in every direction. I don't even know how to respond to it, but I'm going to do my dead level best today to do that. But you are seeing the collective madness of the establishment banking cartel that runs the United States. And at the same time, we are also seeing a marked mass awakening in the last 2 weeks that is accelerating. When you've got Rush Limbaugh coming out saying the evidence points towards a false flag, or frame job, as he calls it, in Syria, you know the New World Order is in deep trouble. Ted Cruz, the senator from Texas, has come out and said the U.S. is not al-Qaeda's Air Force. Man, I wish I could come up with zingers like that. I shouldn't laugh, though. World War III could start over this. We've got that audio coming up as well. Chris Matthews is then honest and says, quote, Dems should vote for war to save Obama's ass. And I have another disgusting Democrat here in my stack saying that they're going to vote for war out of loyalty to Obama. Well, is your party loyalty a suicide pact? I mean, that's what I'm asking here, because this could lead to a World War III type scenario. Here's the quote. Dem Congresswoman, only reason I'd vote to strike Syria would be loyalty to Obama. And then you've got these top Republicans and neocons in the news lobbying Obama, calling him a wimp, telling him to strike. And you've got elements in the Israeli Knesset doing that. This is madness. Now, the Russians, and we've talked to some of the high-level Russian media people, I'll just leave that at that point, not give you the source, because it was off record. They said the government's basically in bunkers and thinks this could be World War III. The Chinese are moving their fighter squadrons and troops to their western border by Pakistan and India and Afghanistan. You've got Russian troops massing on their border very close to Syria. You've got Obama saying the forces are in place and the B-1 and B-2 bombers have been sent to, Diego Garcia. They're off the coast of Africa, just south of the Persian Gulf. All of this is going on. And you've got McCain. In fact, I forgot to print this article. It's on drudgereport.com on the right-hand side. It's also on Infowars.com. But the easiest place to find it is just go to Drudge. I didn't see it in the stacks I printed for some reason. I want the article with the screenshot of him playing poker. That little turd is playing poker during these hearings where they're pushing for a giant military strike on a country. It just makes me angry even looking at him playing poker while that's going on. It's all a big joke to these old psychopaths. And then there's Kerry's testimony yesterday where he looks like he's wearing a rubber mask and literally looks like a mental patient who's had a lobotomy, sticking his tongue out over and over again. It's sick. Authoritarian control freaks throughout history have sought to make populations dependent. The United Nations openly has talked about using food as a weapon against the third world and the industrialized first world. State Department Memorandum 200, developed by Henry Kissinger, called for destroying the food capacity, not just of the United States, but every country in the world, so they could use food scarcity as a political weapon of control. Just a decade ago, less than 10 million Americans were on food stamps. 4 years ago, it was 25 million. It's now reached almost 50 million. Socialist health care is designed to destroy our health care system. The establishment wants you to be a bunch of cowardly, dumbed-down people who can't stand up for yourselves. That's why they're rushing to try to restrict citizens owning firearms. Because since the early 1990s, gun ownership has gone straight up, while violent crime has gone straight down by 49%. And globalist-controlled strongholds like Chicago and New York, where they've taken the citizens' guns, have the highest crime rates in the world. What am I getting at here? The system doesn't want you to be self-sufficient. That's why I promote the fact that you should go out, buy firearms, and go take lessons and learn how to use them. I want you to stand up for your birthright of liberty and freedom. During a serious meltdown, they're going to tell you, hey, you want food? Turn in your guns. And that's why we need to put the globalists in check. And then finally bring them to checkmate by being self-sufficient, by being prepared, by having a garden, by learning how to can your own foods, by having friends and family and community that will stand together. But at the heart of that is having quality, storable foods. And that's why I went out more than a decade ago and found the very best food company to be my sponsor, eFoods Direct. They're the company that I personally use for my emergency food storage preparation, whether it be for natural disasters or the tyranny that is intensifying. So give them a call, 800-409-5633. That's 800-409-5633. Or efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find the weekly and monthly specials. But they're always running the specials where you can get the free 6 meals and the eFoods Direct audio CD put together by the experts in storable foods to answer all your questions, the eFoods planning guide, the eFoods brochure, the eFoods catalog, plus 6 free meals, creamy potato soup, tortilla soup, and cheesy chicken rice, so you can sample the high-quality storable foods from eFoods Direct. They've got a bunch of other specials.
The 2-week food supply provides one adult with 81 servings of healthy, delicious, storable food for 14 days.
The 1-month food supply provides 192 servings for 28 days.
And then there's the 1-month family food pack. It will change the way you look at the food in your pantry. Every time you eat one of these meals, you are eating healthy, delicious food and saving a lot of money.
The 3-month food supply, 576 servings of storable food for 91 days.
And the 1-year food supply will provide you with 2,304 servings of healthy, delicious, storable food for 1 full year.
Your meals are as delicious and nutritious tonight as they'll be in 25 years.
Bottom line, there's a bunch of specials at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can also call them at the toll-free number on your screen, and they can send you a catalog with all the specials detailed and tell you about the weekly and monthly specials that they're always running. efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find all the specials, or call the toll-free number. And so in closing, when you buy from efoodsdirect.com, you are supporting the radio broadcast, the nightly news, the magazine, the films, and everything we're doing. Because we're not like MSNBC or Media Matters that get government and corporate funding to bring down America and bring in tyranny. We are funded by our sponsors and you, the viewers and listeners that support them. Again, that's efoodsdirect.com/Alex or 800-409-5633. And when you're also visiting Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, you can click on the banners to take you to the weekly and monthly specials. It's like the Hank Williams Jr. song, "A Country Boy Can Survive," because you can't starve us out and you can't make us run, because these boys were raised on shotguns. Well, there aren't really a lot of good old boys left anymore, are there? And those that are out there are demonized and are enemy number 1 by Homeland Security. And good old boys come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. They're people that aren't chumps, who understand that they're going to take care of their family and that nobody else is. They're people that understand that if somebody else is taking care of them, that makes them a slave. And that the government doesn't want you dependent because they want to build a great future for you. They want to get you dependent so they can social engineer us. So the answer is get self-sufficient, become men again, and tell the New World Order to go straight to hell. Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com and eFoods Direct, our great sponsor. I was 100% sure of it 2 weeks ago, and I began breaking down on air that absolute history incredibly important history is unfolding in front of everyone. But now I can't even believe how amazing the times are we're in. The news is even better than I thought it was. There is a seismic, mega important historical awakening because humanity at a gut level, at an instinctive level, at a discernment level, understands that we have very dangerous kleptocrats in control of the West, and that China is very dangerous, and that Russia is very dangerous, and that the world economy is teetering on the edge of collapse, and that when empires are in trouble, major wars are started, and that nuclear war is in the air. The beginnings of World War III are on the winds. The seeds of Armageddon, the seeds of nuclear conflagration are sprouting and need to be pulled up, need to be eaten by the crows, need to be dealt with immediately, because these seeds will grow very, very quickly, like some ethereal Jack and the Beanstalk, and will grow up into the heavens and literally visit giants upon us, pillars of fire, hydrogen explosions. So we need to cut these vines now. And ignorance is the water that nourishes them. Apathy is the sunshine that lets them grow. And we need to deal with our apathy right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, the 4th day of September, 2013. A year ago, this September 11th, just 6 days away, 7 days away, we saw the Benghazi event. Al-Qaeda forces hired to run security in Benghazi, going and killing the ambassador and others in a 7-hour-plus firefight so they could get to the 3 giant warehouses behind them filled with all sorts of heat-seeking missiles, anti-tank weapons, French, German, and U.S. TOW missiles. The list goes on and on. Do you feel like something big's going to happen on September 11th? Because my gut tells me, watch September 11th right now. I have never been more on edge than I am, but so on edge now that I'm focused and calm. I've told you in the last few months building up to all this that I have had absolute dread, and it felt like I'm not doing a good enough job breaking down what's happening. Now I've passed into that point where the bully starts the fist fight with you. The fists are now swinging. You're not afraid anymore. You're in the fight. We are entering the event horizon, the point of no return for whatever is going to happen. And that's why you see mainly libertarians worldwide, but also some conservatives and some what you'd call liberals, saying this is madness and it's wrong and it's a false flag and there's no proof and we've got Al-Qaeda ganged up on Syria and this is wrong and the house of cards is falling on the globalists. But here's the problem. John Kerry said in his speech before the committee yesterday in the Congress, he said our credibility's on the line. And he means the New World Orders, because if they don't go through with this now, they're going to get routed on every front. Their aura of invincibility is now beginning to implode. Their aura of invincibility is now beginning to collapse. And so let me tell you what they're going to do. They're going to stage false flags. I don't know what they're going to be. An attack on Syria may be the false flag to cover up the fact that they weren't given authorization and it's clearly a fraud. That may be the false flag. They could do anything, ladies and gentlemen. And I sat there last night watching the tape that the crew had taped of Kerry's testimony, and I had to leave. I was so freaked out by it, and I'm going to get into that. John Kerry looked like a certified member of the Addams family. He sat there looking like someone you would see who'd had a lobotomy. His wife looked completely insane and demon-possessed and mentally ill. The members of the Congress that were pushing the war all looked like disheveled, demonic, ringed out, bloodless zombies. The military officers look like clowns in their little military outfits. And Kerry could hardly talk and kept sticking his tongue out over and over again like a lizard. And his face was jiggling like rubber. And he looked like he was about to pass out. And he would look down and actually have to steady himself during testimony. He was about to collapse. And I just realized these are literally demon-possessed creatures. And I already knew that, but I had to go home, and I could hardly drive home last night because I was so freaked out by watching about 30 minutes of the testimony. Meanwhile, McCain was playing poker the entire time and was caught on video doing that. I mean, these people all need to be arrested. These are mentally ill, power-tripping, insane asylum people who are narcissists and who are on disgusting power trips, endangering our entire planet, waving hundreds of dead children. Now it's admitted it's 400. And everybody's like, where's the 1,400? All the doctors groups say it's 420-something, and they're just like, don't worry about it, we say so. And Kerry comes out and says, all of you, there's video of this, Kerry holds objectors responsible for any future atrocities in Syria. We're going to play that clip later. I've got a flotilla of clips. Imagine, anytime there's another atrocity, when the West started this war, so under common law and common sense, it's all their fault. You start a fight with somebody and they beat your brains out, that's your problem. And it's the same deal. But they're not even using the chemical weapons they own legally. They're not even signatories to the convention. But the point is they didn't use them clearly. The al-Qaeda rebels have been caught 3 separate times using them on record. But they want to sit here with no evidence and say Syria did it. And then this guy tells us that it's our fault. That's what they said about Sandy Hook. If there's ever another school shooting, gun owners, it's your fault. No, it's your fault for making the schools disarmament zones. It's your fault for putting al-Qaeda in Syria and starting this whole thing. And here's the deal. The jig's up, folks. We had the will the last 2.5 years to put out the truth that al-Qaeda was the main force. Now it's mainstream news the last year. Now everybody knows about it. And now Ted Cruz says, quote, the U.S. is not al-Qaeda's air force. Rush Limbaugh's coming out saying it looks like a false flag, and he's investigating. You've got Ron Paul, Rand Paul, Glenn Beck, Pat Buchanan, all of them. Suddenly Fox News correspondents are talking about it. Ron Paul tries to talk about it, and they cut him off on CNN last night because they're desperate and they're scared because good people are starting to stand up on their hind legs, folks, and not roll around on our bellies in front of these globalist scumbags. Look at Matt Drudge leading the charge as well. I've been retweeting these all day. I can't quit reading them up on his personal Drudge, Matt Drudge, @Drudge. We have him up on Real Alex Jones. Follow us there as well. And he says, why would anyone vote Republican? Please give me a reason. Raise taxes, marching us off to war, again, approving more NSA snooping. Who are they? Exactly, who are you? Look at this. It's now authoritarian versus libertarian, since Democrats versus Republicans has been obliterated. No real difference between parties. Boom, it's all happening. Drudge, poll on resolution for Obama Syria raid. 1,000 plus votes in 1 minute. And it goes on and on and on. Putin is the leader of the free world. Yeah, how weird is that? That Putin's saying, okay, I'll attack Syria with you, basically, if you can show me proof they did the chemicals. And he suspended the high-powered surface-to-surface anti-ship mega missiles that the ships have a lot of trouble shooting them down. He suspended those being shipped to Syria and said, okay, just show me proof, and I'll get behind a strike, knowing full well they don't have it, to the point of we have to say Vladimir Putin, compared to the crazy bankers and globalists and narcissists we have running things, is now the leader of the free world. Look at how absolutely flip-flopped all of this is. So that's what's going on that front up at Drudge. Follow him at Drudge. Follow us at Real Alex Jones. where we're retweeting that. And that is exactly what's going on. And folks, this is an orgy, an overload of information. These are the clips I have that are coming up. I've got like 15 of them, okay? Chris Matthews says Dems should vote for Obama. Should vote for war to save Obama's ass. That's a quote. Excuse my French. Obama presses case for Syria, says no boots on the ground, but Kerry comes out and says possibility of boots on the ground. The boots have been on the ground for 2.5 years, folks. And by the way, they don't like it. I've talked to people that have been over there off record, and yeah, they could pretty much be arrested for telling me what they told me. I guess I could be too, with all this persecution of whistleblowers. They've been over there, that's why I told you, in Jordan, in Iraq, and in Turkey with Special Forces training Al-Qaeda commandos. What came out in the New York Times yesterday? Brigades of commandos, brigades, in 50-man cells, making up 4,000-man contingents, are being injected every few weeks into the country for the last 2.5 years, trained by U.S. Special Forces, Delta Force, Green Berets, Army Rangers, Navy SEALs are in there with shaved head guys with the big Al-Qaeda beards, training them on how to use anti-aircraft missiles and stuff. You think the troops like doing that? And by the way, these Al-Qaeda guys will shoot their mouths off about how many American troops they killed in Iraq. You understand that?
Now you can watch The Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
More than 60 movies and documentaries all in one place at Infowars.com/show.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't even gotten to our top story yet today. I'll do that in the next segment. Exclusive, high-level source confirms secret U.S. nuclear warhead transfer. And this is our source that is high-level in the Dyess Air Force Base in West Texas. Directly to us, a source known to us for a decade. I'll just leave it at that. And the people on the base were like freaking out that A, there weren't supposed to be nukes on the base, but they were pulled out of mothballs secretly. There hadn't supposed to be nukes there since the 80s. I went and checked it. That was confirmed under a treaty. The B-1 bombers there. And then they loaded them on trucks to send them to South Carolina. And the people on the base were freaking out because there was no paperwork signed. Remember in 2007 when Cheney had them transferred from Minot, North Dakota down to New Orleans? There was the big freak out over that transfer with cruise missiles. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like being given news like this. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to know this type of information. Okay? I'm just going to leave it. I mean, believe me, this is real. Just like I told you, I had a Navy SEAL source on them all believing that the helicopter was blown up to kill the 23 SEALs, and the family thought that they'd been murdered by Obama to cover up the fake raid. Almost 2 years later, I start getting the families on the show saying they knew that day one. We don't make this stuff up. Believe me, I wish we were. Believe me. Believe me. Believe it. But when I get this info, I'm going to tell you, no matter what happens, you can be guaranteed of that. No matter what happens, I will go 100%, period. And that's it. Excuse me. The reason I start yelling, folks, is this is life and death stuff, okay? And my adrenaline just goes crazy because at a subconscious level, I realize this is combat, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a joke. This is not a game. The article's up on Infowars.com. I'll break it down in the next segment. Obama gave a speech today saying, and just did it again in another speech, that there was never a red line that's made up. We have video of him saying a red line, and the Washington Post with the red line from the 24th of August. Yeah, last August. We're going to get to all that. I mean, everybody knows he said that. This is the level of lying. Then they promised no boots on the ground. There've already been boots on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it was August 21st, 2012. I was going from memory. And then he gets asked about it yesterday, Mr. Rubberface. Man, I tell you, it's not good to serve evil. All these globalists look like reanimated corpses, and they all just get off on destruction and power, and their empire's collapsing, sucking America down with it, and they're not going to let it collapse without starting World War III. That's what all this is about. Let me tell you, folks, they hit Syria and Syria hits Israel. Israel is probably going to nuke somebody or attack them, and then Iran's going to attack, and then Russia's going to get involved, folks, and then we're all dead. And we've barely stopped 3 nuclear wars before. And all you idiot yuppies send me emails and I see comments making jokes about this. You people are idiots. I would like to literally punch your eyes out if you said that to my face. I got a family. I got 3 children. Just because you're uninformed and think everything's a joke doesn't mean the rest of us have to go to hell with you. Excuse me. Let's go to Kerry saying, oh yeah, give me an authorization for boots on the ground. Let's play the clip. Here it is.
Would you tell us whether you believe that a prohibition for having American boots on the ground, is that something that the administration would accept as part of a resolution?
Mr. Chairman, it would be preferable not to, not because there's any intention or any plan or any desire whatsoever to have boots on the ground. I think the President will give you every assurance in the world, as am I, as the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take it off the table. So we're going to come back with the clips. Ladies and gentlemen, they create the war, they create the destabilization, they come in with the solution, give them more power. And they're never going to stop until we stop them. And then I look at that crowd of people. They're all a bunch of weak, pathetic, degenerate scum, not fit to rule an outhouse. Okay? They're not fit to do anything but go to prison.
Now you can watch the Infowars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.